After the break, tears, cheers and applause for the two London celebs running their final marathons. We'll have one of them in the studio for a chat. Tonight, Sir Keir Starmer says Diane Abbott's comments were anti-Semitic. The Hackney MP has apologised for saying Jewish and traveller people are not subject to racism. But the Labour leader says it's right that she's had the whip suspended.
Do I condemn what she said? I absolutely condemn what she said. Do I want to show the Labour Party takes this seriously and acts very quickly? Yes, I do, and that's why we acted as swiftly as we did.
Also on the programme, breaking news as Spurs sack their caretaker manager. Plus, we're taking a look at London's disappearing schools.
Save Bulletin! Save Bulletin!
Fewer children are being born in the capital, which means less demand for places. But what happens to the pupils when their classrooms close their doors? The Princess of Wales tells a baby bank in Windsor she'll bring her children on her next visit. Bab's Army battle through the marathon, raising £50,000 for Alzheimer's UK. Her husband, Scott Mitchell, will be here for a chat. And...
7, 6, 7.
It might be a 7 for the contestants, but he is always a 10 for his fans. We remember Len Goodman, who's died at the age of 78. Good evening. Sir Keir Starmer says he's standing by his decision to suspend Diane Abbott from the Labour Party. Over the weekend, the Hackney North and Stoke Newington MP wrote a letter for The Observer in which she suggested Jewish, Irish and people from the travelling community do not suffer the same racism as black people. She's since apologised, but today the Labour leader said the comments were anti-Semitic and would not be accepted by the party. Our political correspondent Simon Harris reports.
Welcome to the People's Republic of Hackney.
4 years ago, Diane Abbott was hoping to be Labour's Home Secretary. Now she's not even a Labour MP. Her party has withdrawn the whip and she's under investigation after writing a letter to a newspaper which Labour's leader viewed as anti-Semitic.
In my view, what she said was to be condemned. It was anti-Semitic. It's absolutely right that we acted as swiftly as we did. That's the change that you've seen in the Labour Party.
In her letter to The Observer, Abbott suggested while some white people suffered prejudice, it wasn't racism. It is true that many types of white people with points of difference, such as redheads, can experience this prejudice, she wrote. But they are not all their lives subject to racism. In pre-civil rights America, Irish people, Jewish people and travellers were not required to sit at the back of the bus. We wanted to speak to Diane Abbott, but her office said she wasn't available. In a statement, she apologised for her comments and said she wanted to disassociate herself from them. She said the remarks were made in a draft of her letter, which was sent to the newspaper in error.
Diane Julie Abbott.
In 1987, Abbott became Britain's first black woman MP and has faced years of racist abuse during her parliamentary career.
It's a sad day because she has such a proud legacy of fighting racism, not only in her own life but generally in society. So it is more with, in sorrow than in anger. It's right that the Labour Party suspended the whip from her.
Jenny Manson's also Jewish, but on the left of the party, and she thinks Abbott's suspension was wrong.
She is not an anti-Semite, she's not a racist. It's abomination to consider that she's a racist herself.
In Diane Abbott's Hackney North and Stoke Newington constituency, there was support for the MP among shoppers in Ridley Road Market.
She was right to say that the blacks suffer more racism than the Jews have done.
I know she's right, because obviously I'm from the same community and I know history.
I think she's an absolutely fantastic local MP, but it seems like she's not chosen words very carefully.
Diane Abbott must now wait to find out if Labour plans further disciplinary action. Simon Harris, ITV News, Hackney.
A man who tried to throw a stranger in front of a tube train at King's Cross has been jailed for 10 years. Arthur Horley-Levitz grabbed Maria Ossifesso on the platform as she travelled to the Notting Hill Carnival with her friends last August. In a statement read to the court, Miss Ossifesso said the effects of the attack have been profound and long-lasting, and she now suffers overwhelming anxiety when travelling alone on the Underground. Extinction Rebellion says they will escalate their actions across the capital. The group had given Downing Street a deadline of 5 p.m. today to respond to their demands. The climate activists have been on the streets of London since Friday, staging die-ins in front of government buildings in a series of actions they're calling the big one. And the Italian restaurant group Prezzo has announced it will close 46 restaurants, affecting more than 800 members of staff. These include branches in Eltham, Boreham Wood, Chingford, Woodford Green and Sidcup. The company said they were forced to make the decision as their utility costs have more than doubled and footfall is still below pre-pandemic levels. Schools in the capital are closing their doors because there aren't enough children to fill the classrooms. It's a domino effect. Fewer children are being born. The spiralling cost of living is forcing families out of London. And as demand for places drops, schools struggle to survive. And as Rags Martel reports, the effect on young people can be devastating.
Their message is simple. They want to stop the council from closing their school.
What they're proposing is to merge it with another school and send all of our kids to this other school that none of us put on our list. So if they want to do that and we all turn around and say, sorry, we don't want our kids to go there, where are they then going to send our kids to school?
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Parents are now campaigning to stop the proposed merger, but Hackney Council is struggling to keep the school open because it's running out of pupils. For Ava, who is 7 and autistic, there are no other options.
What would it mean to Ava if this school closed?
She won't go to school. She won't access education. Simple as that.
That bad?
That bad. That bad. And it's not just the SCN, obviously my kid is autistic. The whole of the population of the kids who love this school, you know, live with this school, and now they have to readapt to another school.
But this is happening all over London. The capital saw a 3% decrease in primary school applications this year alone. But in inner London boroughs like Hackney, the vacancy rate in classrooms is as much as 20%. A declining birth rate in the capital of 17% is the main cause, fuelled by Brexit, lockdowns and the cost of living crisis. Over in Vauxhall, a shortage of pupils is being blamed for the closure of a school that has stood here for more than 300 years.
We are seeing a case where families with children are moving further and further out because they simply cannot afford to live here. You've seen a case where the government haven't increased the local housing allowance to allow people to stay. That should send the alarm bells ringing, or else I'm sad that we could lose more schools.
Is this just the start of something which is likely to get worse?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's something approaching a death spiral which we're moving towards, where falling school numbers makes the areas less attractive to parents to stay there and to have their children in these places in London, meaning they'll move out, and you're seeing this start to happen in outer London. That means that you need to build new schools in those areas, and you're going to get schools merging and being closed down in inner London. So it becomes a self-perpetuating cycle.
For councils working out school closures, the maths is very simple. The fewer pupils they have, the less money they have.
Hackney is looking at 30 million less money for children to support in schools because we don't have those children coming into our places.
What do you say to the parents who say, you know, please don't close this school?
We need schools to be able to run, and every time there's less money, schools are having to make difficult decisions, and ultimately there are less staff trying to do more work, and that isn't sustainable.
A final decision on Culverston's future is not expected to be made until next month. Rags Martel, ITV News, Hackney.
Now some breaking news, and in the last half hour, Spurs have sacked their interim manager, Christian Stellini. It comes after a shocking 6-1 defeat against Newcastle yesterday. And Kath Octopa is with me now. I mean, tell us, what's the latest on this?
Yeah, it's been quite the 24 hours for Tottenham Hotspurs. I mean, just yesterday they lost 6-1 to Newcastle, something which the club chairman described as devastating and wholly unacceptable. Just how unacceptable was led to the sacking of the now former manager, Christian Stellini. And just a few minutes ago, the club chairman, Daniel Levy, he put out a statement saying that Christian stepped in at a difficult point in our season, and I want to thank him for the professional manner in which he and his coach and staff have conducted themselves during such a challenging time. We wish him and his staff well. And just a bit of background as to how we got here. Christian was brought in as interim manager after taking over from Antonio Conte, and he was brought in to improve results. Now, after yesterday, it's clear that he hasn't fulfilled that. And Ryan Mason, he's going to be taking over as Spurs' head coach in the interim period.
We wish him luck. Thank you. Thank you. Now, the Princess of Wales has spent the day at a baby bank in Windsor that provides nappies, buggies, beds and even school uniforms for families in need. The baby bank has supported 24,000 families in Berkshire and Buckinghamshire since it opened in 2015 and say referrals this year are higher than ever. Helen Keenan reports.
Lending a hand to her neighbours.
Rebecca. Very nice to meet you. Hello. Hi, Laura. Very nice to meet you too. Thank you.
The Princess of Wales on a royal engagement at the baby bank in Maidenhead, where she remarked on being new to the area and this centre now being on her doorstep.
Stories of, real-life families and, actually what's going on in the community, and it must be really challenging for you and the team here.
During the visit, she spoke about her son, Prince Louis's 5th birthday, and this photo she posted of them yesterday to mark it. While sorting through baby clothing and packing gift bags, she reflected on Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis's baby years.
It feels like yesterday that they were this tiny and they grow. They do grow so quickly.
I mean, the bag that she helped pack upstairs, quite a good eye for detail, and she knew what, she was aware of the fact that we're changing seasons, but we still need winter and spring clothes in it. So we said she could come back and pack some more bags like that.
The cost of living crisis has seen a dramatic rise in referrals to this centre, where they are providing clothing, nappies and other essentials to those who need it. But they are struggling to meet demand.
At this time last year, the baby bank was helping around 900 families. That number has now risen by 1/3. Each year they're seeing an increase in demand, and they're expecting 2023 to be the toughest yet. People might think, Windsor, it must be an affluent area, but that's not the reality of the situation that you're seeing.
No, it's really not, sadly. We're just finding we're busier than we've ever been. The cost of living, obviously, with the increases there, have really meant that a lot of families are being really affected.
What stories are you hearing?
We've had situations where we've had mums contacting us not being able to finance birthday presents for their children, one of which is a nurse. She approached us directly asking for some help for her little one who was going to be having a birthday. So we've been able to help with birthday gifts for him.
The princess offered to come back again and bring her own children along to help too.
Next time you'll get a cup of tea.
I'll make it. I cannot actually be useful next time.
A much needed offer, as this baby bank believes this will be the toughest year yet for families. Helen Keenan, ITV News.
Still to come, uniforms fit for a king. Beefeaters at the Tower of London get a new look ahead of the coronation. And he did it! Scott Mitchell will be here to tell us all about running the London Marathon in memory of his late wife, Dame Barbara Windsor. But first, Strictly Come Dancing judge Len Goodman has died of cancer at the age of 78. Born in Bethnal Green, the ballroom dancer started his working life as a welder in Woolwich, only turning to dancing when he was 20 after a doctor said it might help him recover from a foot injury. He went on to win the British Exhibition Championships 4 times, run a prestigious dance academy in Dartford, and of course become one of the most recognisable faces of Saturday night telly. Here's Anton Allen with a look back at his life on and off the dance floor.
Let's hear from our head judge, Len Goodman.
If you don't get 4 tens for that, I'm going to go home and pickle my walnuts.
Fame came to Len Goodman late, but when opportunity knocked, the despite already putting down his dancing shoes, he proved he had an eye for talent.
You dance like I cook, just chuck it all in and hope for the best.
And a personality that led him to glide across the TV world as if it were the dance floors that he loved.
7, 6.
On Saturday, former Strictly Come Dancing head judge Len Goodman died aged 78, peacefully with his family. Today, tributes poured in for the TV star, from Her Majesty the Queen Consort to former co-stars of the BBC show, all saddened and shocked by the news.
He was charming and eloquent and wonderful on so many levels, and then at the same time he had a bit of a bite and a little bit of edge to him, which I think made for when you got the warmth, it was a beautiful thing. So very sad to hear his passing, and condolences to Sue and his children and grandchildren.
For 12 years, the former welder judged the dancing abilities of celebrities on the popular Saturday evening show. Len was cast as a judge after someone else dropped out, but he soon became an instant and memorable TV personality.
Shut up, close the door and call me Mary.
The catchphrases he brought to the show came from watching his family sell vegetables as a boy in Bethnal Green. Dan Walker danced as a contestant under Len's watchful eye.
You know, he was a star of the ballroom, but you speak to anybody, he was much bigger than that. I think his charisma really carried him beyond that, and he was so deeply loved by people here in the UK and around the world.
I look at myself here, I was good looking, you know. He's a handsome little devil.
Born in 1944 in the East End, aged 21, he began an amateur career as a ballroom dancer after hurting his foot whilst playing football. After winning dance exhibitions, he went on to set up his own dance school in Dartford. His classes were outside of the bright lights of the television, but his reputation as a character gained him the Strictly role. At the time, Len was 60 years old. Len would go on to be the head judge of the American version of Strictly Come Dancing. Len said the highlight of his career was appearing in the Beano comic. He lived a life that proved age was nothing but a number, but for his fans, his judging ability was always tens. Antoine Allen, ITV News.
Len Goodman, who's died at the age of 78. And there'll be more on Len's life when the ITV Evening News continues at 6:30. Here's a look ahead with Mary.
Coming up on the programme, fears for thousands of British citizens left stranded in Sudan. As fighting there rages on, the government warns help for those left behind will remain severely limited until a ceasefire is reached. Here, dental costs are rising by more than 8%, yet a quarter of people say they already can't afford treatment. And tributes pour in for King of the Ballroom, Len Goodman, who's died at the age of 78. We'll do Johnny for those stories and more at 6:30.
Next tonight, a record 50,000 people ran the London Marathon yesterday, and there were some big achievements for some big names. Radio 1 DJ Adele Roberts became the fastest woman to complete the race with a stoma bag, breaking the record less than 12 months after she finished chemotherapy for bowel cancer. Four-time Olympic champion Mo Farah went to school in Eltham, and he came ninth in what was his final marathon. He said he was going to miss the race so much he wanted to cry as he crossed the finish line. And he wasn't the only one running his last big race. Dame Barbara Windsor's husband, Scott Mitchell, completed his third and final London Marathon alongside Babs Army to raise money for Alzheimer's Research UK. And I'm thrilled to say Scott joins me now, and you walked into the studio like a penguin. How are you feeling?
I think there's most likely nearly 50,000 people walking like me today. It's just how it is. And I believe you've done it, haven't you, Ronke?
I've done it, and it's going to be worse tomorrow.
It's going to be worse tomorrow. Thank you for that. I look forward to that. Do you know something? I was thinking about it on the way here. I've actually been through the worst pain ever, worse than a marathon, and how you feel today. And that was watching Alzheimer's take Barbara away from me. And to me, nothing will ever compare to that. So however bad my muscles are feeling right now, I know that there's other people going through that at the moment. And that's why we do this. That's why we raise awareness. That's why we raise funds, so that one day, hopefully, future generations are not going to have to go through this.
And you don't mind talking about the care that you gave her and the way that she deteriorated?
No, I don't. I think it's really, really important because I think Alzheimer's, dementia, it's one of those things that people don't want to talk about. There was a stigma around it for so long. People kind of wanted to hide it away when their relatives had it. We have to talk about it. You know, 1 in 3 people born today will develop dementia. And they reckon 1 in 2 of us now have either experienced it or we know someone who has experienced it. Those stats are just incredible. So to find treatment that is going to slow this down or one day cure it, I'm not talking about most likely even for me. I'm talking about everyone's children, their grandchildren, my great-nephews and niece. Yeah. They're the generations we need to be looking out for so they don't have to go through it.
And you had some of those younger generations running with you, the cast of EastEnders, young and old, were all there supporting you, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Do you know something? They are the most incredible group of people. And Barbara and I were blessed to have such amazing friends because, you know, you suddenly phone someone up and say, look, do you fancy running the marathon with me? I mean, it's such a big ask to ask. You've got 5 months training. You know, quite a few of the girls have young children and babies they're looking after. They've got full-time jobs. To actually fit in training for a marathon is a major, major thing. And I can't thank them enough. And nor can the charity. I'm an ambassador for Alzheimer's Research UK. We set a target for £50,000 this year because, you know, things we know are very difficult for people at the moment. Today we were the recipients of the first GAY Foundation £10,000, first charity to get that out of 13. Our total today is £63,400.
Well done.
So I'm just over the moon for the charity. I really am.
All because of how wonderful Barbara was as a person. I've got to let you know that I met her once in Blackpool with Russell Grant. She came off the stage to come and say hello in the middle of her performance. I mean, that's the sort of person she was, wasn't she?
She was.
People loved her.
She took everyone in and she was genuinely interested in other people. And also, you know, the great thing is Barbara always tried to do as much as she could for other people, especially in the charity sector. And that's why when we went public with it, we explained to her, you will be helping people, Barbara. And although maybe 10 minutes later she'd forgotten that, I knew that in that moment there was recognition. And can I just say, you know, we have done amazingly well. If there's anyone who would like to add to what we've done, if they just Google Babs Army Enfuse.
I'm sure they will, but it's your last marathon. Why have you decided to call it a day?
I'm 60 in 5 days' time, and I think you've got to know when enough's enough. I think I'm going to need my legs.
I'm glad you said it was your age and not the training you did with our weather woman, because I know she did some training with you. I thought she'd put you off.
She was amazing. Sally had Regent's Park. We had a great time, didn't we?
We did. It's just as well I wasn't running it because last weekend I lost one trainer, not both trainers, one trainer. I am one of those people that has a trainer somewhere in a service station in the M1. You know, when you see them like, who loses one trainer? I did. Listen, I'm desperate to know, what do you think Barbara would be saying to you now, having done, apparently, your last one?
I think she'd be immensely proud, not only of me, but, and you know, of our friends as well that joined us for Babs Army. I really do. She'd be overwhelmed the fact that they wanted to do this. Me, she'd most likely say, you're raving mad. And I don't know why you thought you could do that. But, you know, I think of her so much, and she has left a wonderful legacy, especially now in the world of dementia, not just her bra flying off in Carry On Camping. It's a very strong, it's a very strong legacy now.
She's got several legacies now, hasn't she? Listen, massive happy birthday, by the way, for Friday.
From me too. Happy birthday.
We won't sing, because Ronke will probably never talk to me again, but as much as I would love to, but listen, have a happy birthday. I wasn't doing anything quite as energetic as that today. Getting a little bit of a sweat on, throwing some seeds around, planting wildflowers at Calthorpe Community Gardens. We weren't that happy with the display last year. This is my allotment. We're hoping we've planted a different lot this year, and hopefully it'll look like this. But we really, really want you guys to plant things as well. And we would love to see the results. We've got a new scheme thingy kind of thing going on called How Does Your Garden Grow? So if you can take photos of your garden this summer and send them to us, that would be amazing, whether it's small or big. And if you can take a before now as well, that would be even better, so that we can have the before and after. And you're pleased to know it's going to be nice and sunny tomorrow to help those plants. Here we go, here's the forecast.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles. Car, charger and energy.
Hello again. Aren't these tulips gorgeous? I do love them. And this picture here, look at that, little baby deer. This came from the Royal Parks, along with a reminder that their Dogs on Leads policy starts in Richmond and Bushy Park at the beginning of May, while their deer have their little babies. Right, on to the weather. Not great outside this evening. We've got rain, potential for thunderstorms as well. There might be some hail in the mix. Not great driving conditions. But tomorrow is looking better. Some nice sunny spells, certainly in the morning. Still feeling a little bit cool though. So here's the detail for you. There's that rain outside at the moment, some heavy bursts on it. It does clear away, and you can see behind it the second half of the night is quite different. Clear skies, the temperatures therefore dropping away, really quite chilly, down to possibly freezing in the countryside, where we could well get some spots of frost here or there. So apologies if you've just put your new plants out. Chilly start then as we head into Tuesday, but a lovely bright one. So beautiful sunshine for you. Make the most of it. The best of the sunshine in the morning. There is a little bit more cloud moving our way into the afternoon, and the temperature's still a bit subdued. Highs of 9 to 13. Obviously feeling better in the sunshine, but out of it still a touch cool. We've got light winds, but they are coming from a northerly direction. And then no real change as we head into the evening. Bit of cloud, but some of it breaking up. You might get a bit of an evening sunshine, staying dry. Now the theme for the outlook is cloud into Wednesday and Thursday. We're looking at some rain probably later on Thursday, overnight into Friday. Keep an eye on the forecast for the timings. Friday should then be improving. Look at the temperatures, they're finally coming up a bit as we get towards the end of the week. That's it for now. I'll see you later on. Cheerio.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles.
Now, finally across the capital, preparations are underway for the King's coronation on the 6th of May. You'll already have noticed changes to our coins, postboxes and stamps. And now the guards at the Tower of London are sporting a new look too. Daniel Henry reports.
It's one of the most photographed places on the planet. And still, tourists travel to the capital to see the Tower of London up close.
Well, we left Auckland a couple of days ago, went to
New
Dubai.
Zealand?
Yes.
We came from Boston. All the way from Boston? All the way from Boston. You travelled all the way from Australia?
I did. All 25 hours of them.
My gosh.
I know, it's a long journey, but so worth it. Look at this. This is beautiful.
What are you hoping to see in there?
Well, it's basically a bucket list trip. I want to see some beef eaters. And
He stood roughly where you are right now.
It looks like she's in luck. The Tudors gave them their beefeater nickname, and they've guarded these houses of history ever since, wearing their official titles as yeoman warders with pride.
How do you become a yeoman?
Well, it's there's not much to it as long as you've spent over 22 years in His Majesty's forces. You've been a rank of Sergeant Major or equivalent across the three forces.
I suppose anyone could do it then.
Yeah, anyone. Join up there.
The uniforms that Pete wears are world famous. Today's visitors couldn't have picked a better time to see them in person.
New uniforms today, great day for us, exciting day for us. The whole team were out early on parade, and now we have C3R. Yesterday it was E2R, and the buttons have been changed, and even my rank. It means that our uniforms are ready to do what's only right for our new king, and we're really proud of it. Remember, our background is the military. We're all from the military, and it's something we've grown up with, we've been brought up with, and we all served underneath Her Majesty the Queen, God rest her soul. But now it's a new era, and I feel like we're going into that era the right way.
The changing of the garment is designed to keep their traditions alive for another generation, stitching their story into the fabric of our city. Daniel Henry, ITV News.
And if you're planning something special for the coronation, we'd love to hear from you. Are you bringing your street together for a party? Have you got memorabilia of the Queen that you're swiftly replacing in time for next weekend? Please do get in touch with us at the email address on your screen now. Contact us at itvlondon.com. And that's it from us. Mary's here next with the ITV Evening News. But from me and the rest of the London team, enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.